Episode number 150 is America on the decline. Let's talk about it. What up, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Making the Case. I'm your host, Dr. Jacob Isom. We're on episode number 150. We are talking about today is America on the decline. And of course, if you ask me, I would say yes, but I'm not the only one that think that way. We got two channel norms. One, we'll take points on our people, and then two, we don't do all that cussing and derogatory stuff. So before we get into the video that I have for you today, let's just, get some things out there, right? Why do we say America's on decline? Because clearly we hear that America is one of the wealthy countries in the world, which we are, right? But we also got to understand we have a lot of debt as well. But if you understand on the individual level, you can actually be a millionaire, but also have a lot of debt. Think about all these people that have these mortgages, $50,000 mortgages and things of that nature, right? That means they're in debt. But and these expensive cars, because everybody don't own their car outright, right? So you can actually be in debt and still have a lot of money. Okay, so we know that America definitely is in a lot of debt, right? In the trillions at this point. But that's not the biggest reason why we will say America is in the decline, right? Of course, we know we're not in the top 10 when it comes to education. We know that our public education system has been failing, is failing, and you're talking about somebody who's in the education system. So I know firsthand. You're talking about, yes, we have a great military, but unfortunately, our imperialistic tactics do not work in modern times as they did during the World War I, World War II era. So we can't just bully our way into people's lives, even though unfortunately we continue to keep doing. That has created animosity in other countries. So we see a lot of the immigration, of course, is a huge thing. We've never, since the founding of this country, have gotten immigration under control. Too much politics in it, right? Even though we're a nation of immigrants. That's the ironic thing, right? And there's a whole myriad of other factors that would say that, America's on decline. I think if we add, freedom of speech, all the different freedoms that we have, all the polarization when it comes to political parties. I mean, we can keep going on and on, right? And so the video that I actually have for you today is going to break down some of these issues I just brought up and going to go into some other issues. And we're just going to have the conversation. Is America in decline? Have we become the boogeyman? We know America has been a bully quite a bit in our history, right? Since we came into power to become one of the more powerful nations, right? So has it caught up to us? That's the question I'm asking. That is kind of the conversation that we're going to have today. All right, so buckle up, get your popcorn. Let's talk about it. All right, here we go. Let's get straight to
it. Joe. And today we're counting down our picks for 10 ways in which the United States has transformed from Reagan's shining city on a hill to a cautionary tale for the world.
And what you know as a historian is that there is no such thing as a ship that can't sink.
Global influence waning. For much of the 20th century, the United States stood as the undisputed global leader.
Like it or not, we are the leader of the free world.
It was the glue holding the post-World War II order together. America set the cultural, political, and economic tone for the world. Today, that dominance is slipping.
China's influence on the world stage has been growing and America's has been declining. It seems to have accelerated in the last few months.
Rising isolationism and abrupt trade wars have eroded international trust. Allies question U.S. commitments in NATO and climate accords. Rivals like China sense opportunity and are filling the vacuum on the global stage. Once seen as the model for democracy, the U.S. now finds its image tarnished by popularization. The change is tangible. International tourism has fallen sharply.
The World Travel and Tourism Council says America is on track to lose $12.5 billion in international visitor spending this year.
America doesn't seem as safe or as welcoming as it used to. Expensive visa fees, tougher screening, and anti-immigration sentiment scare off many would-be tourists.
We need to let travelers around the world know that we want their business.
Demographic aging crisis. America is graying fast. About 18% of Americans are 65 or older today. By 2030, that number will climb to almost 1 in 5.
In about a third of states, more than half of the population is older than 40.
4 years later, seniors will outnumber children under 18 for the first time in U.S. history. A shrinking workforce means fewer taxpayers to fund Social Security and Medicare.
We have very significant increases in benefits on the horizon, but we haven't planned for those with increases in taxes.
Hospitals and nursing homes already face staffing shortages as demand grows. Families are getting squeezed on both ends. Childcare costs remain prohibitive for much of the public. Elder care is becoming just as necessary and as expensive.
So we saw our savings dwindle and dwindle and dwindle.
Rural towns feel the sharpest strain with aging population.
And this is a conversation that we haven't been having in the public, like that I can remember, right? And I'm constantly either reading online or something, right? But I don't hear us having a conversation about Social Security and the aging population that we have. People are living longer, right? So which means that we have to take care of those people. I'm seeing more and more people who literally either cannot afford to put their aging parents or grandparents in a nursing home, and they have to step in and actually take turns with the family of taking care of their aging parents or grandparents. So this is an issue that is creeping up on us here in the United States that we need to be paying more attention to. Let's get to it.
Outpacing available services.
Wix. One platform. Any website. Unlimited creation.
This is a demographic time bomb that could cripple the U.S. economy.
Care shouldn't be a political issue. We should be looking at the life cycle of care that citizens need from birth through end of life.
Dropping life expectancy. For the first time in generations, Americans are living shorter lives. U.S. life expectancy fell to just over 76 years in 2022.
And now dozens of countries are surpassing the U.S., including Lebanon, the Czech Republic, and Cuba.
Only 3 years earlier, life expectancy was nearly 3 years longer. The pandemic accelerated the drop, but it was already underway. Rising rates of heart disease, diabetes, and gun violence are all part of the story.
Well, health is about more than healthcare, and as a doctor, I often have to emphasize that.
The most devastating factor is the opioid crisis, which now kills more than 80,000 Americans a year. The FDA's failure to regulate powerful painkillers unleashed an epidemic that still devastates communities.
The companies clearly knew what was happening. They knew exactly where their pills were going.
Compared to other wealthy nations, America lags in life expectancy by years. A society once defined by longevity now struggles to keep.
And I know I just mentioned that people are living longer, and it's true. And of course, it's based on the time period we're talking about. But what they're addressing is the fact that life expectancy is shortened because of killings, because of health. Of course, they mentioned like heart disease, heart attack, and stuff like that. That's all self-inflicted, though, right? That's all something that we can prevent. So we got to keep that in mind. Let's get into
It's people alive.
Individual responsibility is certainly one area. Second, providing healthcare systems and adequate services to assist people so that they will live to old age.
Crumbling infrastructure. If infrastructure acts like the arteries keeping people, goods, and services flowing, America is on the verge of a heart attack.
Imagine a month-long blackout. Imagine major failures of water delivery system in the West. Imagine levee breakdowns that can't be repaired.
Roads, bridges, water systems, and power grids built decades ago are breaking down. The American Society of Civil Engineers gives U.S. infrastructure a C grade. with storm weather and transit earning Ds. Even after a $1 trillion federal investment, streets remain pitted with potholes. More than 46,000 bridges are structurally deficient.
In the next 10 years, over 50% of our bridges will be over 50 years old. We're kind of heading towards a perfect storm.
Congestion costs commuters billions of hours every year. Water systems leak enough to waste trillions of gallons annually.
This raging torrent on a commuter highway was the result of a water main break. In this case, a break in a 66-inch pipe.
Experts warn the decay is more than an inconvenience. It's a national security threat. A nation once defined by its interstate highways and engineering marvels now struggles just to keep the lights on.
A 100-year event in 2000 will look like a 10-year event in 2050. The reality is we're essentially living in borrowed time.
Uncontrollable national debt. The United States is drowning in red ink. The national debt hit a record $37 trillion in 2025, more than the entire annual GDP.
There's no shortage of voices sounding the alarm about the national debt. America's borrowing levels are currently the same size as the entire economy and are expected to skyrocket from here.
Interest payments alone are projected to surpass defense spending within a decade. That means fewer resources for schools, infrastructure, or disaster relief. Both parties have piled on costs through tax cuts, wars, and pandemic aid, without reining in spending or raising revenues.
The Tax Foundation estimates that a 10% universal tariff could bring in trillions of dollars, but that revenue would diminish when accounting for the broader economic impact.
Public alarm is rising. 72% of Americans now see the debt as a major threat to the nation's future, according to Pew. Economists warn that rising interest rates make this spiral harder to escape.
The thing about the national debt is it affects basically everything in our economic lives and then some, but we don't see it, we don't feel it, many people don't realize it.
What was once a distant worry is now a lit powder keg sitting at the heart of the U.S. economy.
And of course, they're not even talking about individual taxpayers' debt, right? Most Americans are living in debt. Most Americans are now we're finding young kids cannot move out because they cannot afford to. I see so many 20, 30-year-olds that still living at home with their parents, right? And I see older parents and older siblings, and you seeing a lot, 3 or 4 people staying in the same house. Like, I mean, it just, times are dire right now, I would say that.
Economy.
Let's face it, it's not likely the U.S. government debt is going to be paid back anytime soon.
Extreme political polarization.
Offload some of the...
America is fracturing along ideological lines. Democrats and Republicans no longer just disagree. They increasingly see each other as the enemy.
America is in a very angry moment. Republicans attack Democrats, and Democrats return fire.
Pew finds that around 2/3 of Americans view the opposing party negatively, the highest in modern history. The divide isn't only political, it's cultural, geographic, and generational.
Younger voters are half as likely to say that patriotism is an important value. They're half as likely to say that America is the best place that they'd want to live. They're much more concerned about capitalism and see more promise in socialism.
That polarization has eroded a shared sense of American identity and patriotism. National holidays and symbols no longer unify the way they once did. At the same time, faith in the system itself has collapsed.
And I think that's a good place to kind of stop right there because, I mean, I think we kind of understand the gist of things. And the video actually touches on, a few more reasons why America is in a decline. But I think the last one that they mentioned, the polarization when it comes to politics, we can include religion, we can include gender, right? With class, we can throw all that stuff in there. But all that, once again, ties into politics, right? We're such a divided country. And I think that really speaks to the decline of America and how far we've came or how we've gotten to this point where people don't trust each other. We don't trust the government. I don't even think we trust our next door neighbor, to be honest with you. A lot of us probably don't even speak on a regular basis to our next door neighbor. even though we'll say we're Americans, with a lot of it is just fluff, a lot of it is just talk, right? But at the end of the day, we're very insecure, we're very polarized, very divided, and we had a whole myriad of issues, right? That have really resulted from all the freedoms and all the rights that we fought so valiantly to protect, right? So America, America is the new Frankenstein, all right? And I think that's a great place to end it, all right? Hey, you already know I appreciate you rocking with me, man. Share, like, comment on the video. What do you think? Is America in decline? Let me know what you think, okay? But of course, I'm you, you are me. Love always, love eternal. Remember, the worst thing you do is lie to yourself, and we out. Deuces. One love.